So I get to where I'm staying, which is just south of Jaco. It's a little beach town called Hermosa, where like all the crazy surfers go. I feel like they have surf competitions there every weekend. Little tiny place. I get there. I'm staying there in a Airbnb place. It's awesome. I got this little space to myself. No air conditioning, but there's a fan, and that's all I really need. I found out, even if it's like crazy hot. And I get there, and so basically every day I would just go to the beach, and the waves were insane. So I kind of went down the beach a little further, where I could actually kind of swim a little bit, but it was crazy. Like I couldn't really do much stuff there in terms of like body surfing. Like the waves were nuts. Surf City #1. There was some scarlet macaws in the tree this one time behind where I would always go. And I always did some hikes up into the hills too. I think I have some footage of that where you can kind of look down at the beach. I ended up staying there like 10 days, which is like, why did you stay there 10 days? But Mike Fontaine, who I met up with him in the Bay Area when I was in California at the start of the trip. He owns a dive and surf shop in Dominical. And so he was coming down on December 15th. And when I got to Hermosa, it was like December 4th or something like that or whatever. And so I waited that 10 days out for him, and I picked him up from the airport in San Jose. And then we drove down to Dominical together. And it was so cool. I mean, like, it was so rad to have like a bro with me again. It was almost like I was just like so goofy and hysterical, like driving down. It's so good. So we get to Dominical, we get to his shop, and his business partner Rich is there, and all the employees are there, and it's cool, and blah blah blah, and showing up. Total like classic surf zone, like, you know, dudes with like hair down to here that's like should be brown but is like blonde because they've been in the ocean their whole lives and salt in the sun, you know, and just like everybody like shirtless, wearing like board shorts, and that's, you know, like ridiculous, like smoking weed like 24 hours a day. I don't smoke weed, I still didn't, no matter how many times I was offered or whatever. I was just like, nah, it's okay. But like, just your epitomized surfer like life, or whatever, right? So I get there, and pretty much just going to the beach every day. Mike and I stayed in a hostel the first 3 nights because his business partner had the room in the house they have, and when he was leaving 3 days later, Mike was going to get it. So then after 3 days, Mike and I moved up in the hills in Porto Nuevo, which is an insane house. They have like a perfect pool and this like ocean view in the house. Like I'll show you some footage, but I'd probably show it to you right now. It's like insane. So we stayed there with the employees, and me and Mike got the upstairs room. I slept on the floor, no big deal. And it was just a crazy week. Like, well, Mike left on January 1st, so that was just kind of a crazy phase of time when I was dancing and stuff. Like, the company was purchasing a boat, so like there was one time we went on the boat and we had to return back because something wasn't working with it or whatever. But later on, I ended up going on a scuba actual thing to Conyo Island, and I'd never scubaed before. And, like, just seeing underwater all those tropical fish, I was like, wow, this is insane. I got super sunburnt that day because when you're in the water, you're scubaing, your back's just exposed and there's nothing to protect you. But Conyo Island was cool, it was just rad. So it was totally rad, like living at that house. And then Mike left, drove him to the airport in Cabos, and I met a cool family there with like 3 kids. And that was super rad. They're from Vancouver, or the Maple Ridge area. So it was cool hanging with them, the Goodmans. But anyway, so then Mike left, and I was staying at this house with his employees who, 2 of them are Spanish, like from Spain, and one of them is a Costa Rican. So Roberto's Costa Rican, Miguel's from Spain, and Marta's from Spain. So they all speak Spanish. They speak English too, but it's really like, you know, like the zone of like Spanish, right? So they speak fast, and it's tough for me to understand. But I was trying. I wasn't doing my best. I wasn't doing like homework, but I was just, you know, whatever. So it's fine. And those are all super cool people. So up there, I did some hikes up into the hills. I got some cool views of that. I walked the town a lot of days. It was like 9 kilometers along the highway to get to the town. And I never had to do a day where I walked 9 kilometers to Dominical and 9 kilometers back. But like there was a lot of walking going on and hot, but I was okay with it. We jump in the ocean. But this ear started to plug up really bad. No pain, but like I couldn't hear out of this ear for like probably like 3 weeks. And the reason why I was in Costa Rica so long was originally my plan was to go to Costa Rica, hang out with Mike, sell my car, and backpack into South America. However, when I got to Costa Rica waiting for Mike, I was looking at what boats I would take from Panama to Colombia, even backpacking in, and I saw there was a boat, a new company Ferry Express, that you could take a car on board with. And I was like, what? So I emailed them, and they're like, we're not doing it right now, but by middle January it should be good. So I was like, I knew it was bureaucratic stuff, but I was like, okay, well, I'll wait it out. I was waiting in Costa Rica, waiting in Costa Rica. And we actually moved houses, the employees and I, to this other house in Guapio, which was like this, like, it was in an ecological reserve, and only like 8 people live up there. These super mansions, like rad places. we had like monkeys in the tree in our parking lot, and like not scarlet macaws, but toucans, like everything. Like it was nuts. We were in an ecological reserve in this house. It felt like we were in a cabin in the woods in Canada, multiplied by 10 in terms of the size. But in Costa Rica, it was nuts. So we stayed there. But I'm waiting it out, getting kind of bummed out. Like, oh, maybe this ferry company isn't going to be able to get the paperwork done before my visa expires on February 15th. But what happened was I got linked in with this group of people online who were like those crazy explorers with like jeeps and stuff like that who go over all kinds of crazy roads. And they have a special arrangement with Ferry Express, the ferry company, where they can do bookings. So they have like, as soon as they find out that there's going to be a sailing, they can get in on it. And what had happened was Ferry Express ended up doing sort of one sailing each month that they weren't advertising to the public, but only like this overland sphere group, the adventurers would know about. So it's like, I've now advertised my car. It's like January, the end of January 20 something. I've advertised my car in Costa Rica. I'm working on selling it because I basically defeated, I'm not going to take the ferry. And then Friday, this explorer group is like, there's a sailing on Monday, and I was like, I'm on it, dude. Like, I'm out the door whenever I need to be. I'm gone. I've got to be on that sailing, right? And he's like, well, you have to do this form in Panama. Today's Friday. It can't be done on the weekend, and you need that form inspection of your car. It takes a full day to do. Only day you can do it's Monday. The sailing is on Monday. And I was like, ugh. So after some like discussion, I was just like, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm going. I'm taking the chance. I'm going.